Standing Chimney is open this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with lots of new summer items and fresh baked goods. For more information, go to standingchimney.com or facebook.com/standingchimney. And don't forget, you can find a written version of this week's recipe on our website at marymacbakehouse.com/newsletter.
Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. Today I'm going to share a recipe that I make fairly often just because it's just so simple and it's really good. I didn't know what to call it because I tried to look up and see if it had some sort of an Italian name, so I put all the ingredients, nothing came up. So if you know what this is that I make, you can let me know, but I call it pasta with sausage and vegetables. This recipe, like I said, it's very simple. It's pretty much a one-pan recipe, except for that you have to boil the pasta in a separate pan. So it's kind of like a two-pan recipe, but it's pretty much, you mix everything together in one big pan and serve it like that. So it's pretty convenient to make. Another thing is you can use any kind of pasta you like with it. I have used mini penny, gnocchi, spaghetti, angel hair, orzo, anything like that. So whatever you like, you can definitely use whatever you like. So I'll give you the list of ingredients and then we'll go through the instructions on how to make it. And it's just like, it kind of follows a list of ingredients. It's like step by step as you go along. So you're going to need a very large, deep skillet or heavy bottom Dutch oven. The one I use is a Cuisinart. It's kind of almost looks like a wok. It's a big rounded skillet. It holds a lot. So that's the one that I use to make this. So like I said, use your biggest big skillet or a Dutch oven. Okay, you need 1 pound of loose Italian sausage, either hot or sweet, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1 large onion chopped, 2 cups of bell peppers, and I usually get like a red, a yellow, and an orange, or a red and a green, or whatever, and clean them and cut them into 1-inch chunks. A half to 1 cup of sliced mushrooms, you can use fresh or canned. 1 cup of grape tomatoes whole, or if you can't find grape tomatoes or they're like priced crazy, you can just use either 1 really big tomato or 2 large Roma-style tomatoes diced. You need spinach with the stems removed, and you can put in as much as you like. I would probably say maybe about 4 cups of spinach would be about right, but as much as you like. You'll need some olive oil. You'll need 1 teaspoon of dried basil or a half cup of chopped fresh basil leaves, a half teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and freshly grated Romano cheese. Now, these are optional things you can add also to this list. And remember, as in most of my recipes like this, you can also leave out what you don't like or add something else that you do like. So here's some extra things I add in every once in a while. A pound of asparagus cleaned and cut into 1 to 2 inch pieces, a can of artichoke hearts drained and chopped, 1 small eggplant peeled and diced, 1 small zucchini diced. So you can add those to it or just pick 1 or 2 of them or whatever, but you can go down the list and say, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that or I do like this, and you can make this your own very easily. So here's what you do. You'll need 1 pound of pasta of your choice, cooked as directed and drained. And you can either do this while you're cooking everything or you can do it before you're cooking everything, however you want to do it. So whichever kind of pasta you use, that's fine. Make sure you reserve a half a cup of pasta water out of it for adding to the dish later. So, pick your pasta. If you're doing gnocchi, you do not need to cook it ahead of time. You can do it because it cooks so fast. You can do it when you're almost ready to add it, actually. The picture that we're going to use for this podcast recipe is actually the picture with the potato gnocchi. But like I said, I've also used the mini penny, the spaghetti, the regular big spaghetti noodles, the angel hair. Oh, also, I've used cheese ravioli in this, and it's really good. If you get the smaller cheese ravioli and put it in, it's really good with it. Orzo's good with it too. So use whatever you like or whatever you have on hand, it's up to you. So here's how we begin. First, we're going to start by cooking the sausage in your large skillet over medium heat. And what you want to do is break it up as it cooks into bite-sized pieces, not too small, but you can do some small ones and some bigger ones too. So when it's about halfway done cooking, add your onions and garlic and stir that in and just allow those to cook. And when your onions begin to soften, you can add the peppers in. Again, stir those up and let them cook and kind of, stir it for a little while, probably about 10 minutes once the peppers start to cook. Then you're going to add the mushrooms and tomatoes. So go ahead and stir that again. And you want to stir this often to make sure everything is cooking. You don't want anything to brown up too much or anything like that. So stir those in and let them cook. And you want to cook until all of this is tender. Once you get to that point, you can lower the heat, and now you're just like at a nice little simmer, like you got some juices coming up and simmering. You can spread the spinach all over the top of everything in the pan, and then sprinkle the spinach with salt, pepper, and basil, and drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. Now you're going to place the lid on it so that the spinach will wilt. Once the spinach is wilted, you're going to take a wooden spoon and mix everything together, and the spinach kind of will get clumpy. So you want to just like take that spoon and break everything up a little bit so that the spinach gets distributed throughout, because it likes to stick together and it's a little hard to make it do what you want. Once your spinach is wilted and everything's mixed together really well, you can add your reserved pasta water and stir that in. And then add your pasta. Carefully fold that in with the vegetables and make sure it's pretty well blended. Turn the heat off and cover it and just let the pasta absorb those juices for about 10 minutes or so. And during that 10 minutes, you might want to turn it over a couple more times. When you're getting ready to serve, take that grated Romano cheese and sprinkle over the top. And then you can put the lid on it for another minute or two and let that cheese melt a little bit. And then serve it. And you can serve this with a nice loaf of Italian bread or some garlic bread or whatever. Now, for those optional items, those are kind of in the order of cooking also. So when you get to the point where you're adding your peppers, where you've added the peppers to the recipe, the asparagus, the artichoke hearts, the eggplant, or the zucchini, or all of them, or one or two of them, whatever, add them after you add your peppers, because they take a little longer to cook than the mushrooms and tomatoes, but they cook a little faster than the peppers do. So when you're going through the recipe, if you want to add in any of those optional items, that's where you want to put them in at. After the peppers, before the tomatoes and mushrooms, okay? And do the same thing. You want to keep things moving around in the pot so that it cooks evenly. This does not take very long to cook. I'm going to say it's probably cooking time wise about 40 minutes. There's probably about 15, 20 minutes of prep, cutting everything up and getting it all ready and everything. But once you start cooking it, it's like as it cooks, you add this, as it cooks, you add this, and it goes along pretty quickly. If you don't eat meat, you can leave the sausage out, and you can actually just put olive oil in to start your dish and just start with your garlic and onions and everything. And that is also delicious. I've done that too. Just have vegetable pasta, and it's very good. This makes a lot, number one. This really makes a lot. So it's nice for a dinner if you're feeding like 5 or 6 people. It's pretty easy. It goes together pretty well. And it's so good when you have, especially when your garden is on, you have a lot of fresh vegetables. It's really good for that. But it's just I always think it's so pretty in the dish because you have all these different colors of vegetables in there. And I always love looking at it, even because it's just so colorful. And it just feels like such a fresh and delicious dish. So I hope you give it a try, because it's definitely one of our favorites in our house.
Be sure to check us out online on Facebook and Instagram at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on Twitter at Mobile Mary Mac and Mary Mac Podcast, and on our website, marymacpodcast.com.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you.